Yo, what's up, family? Shalom. I want to do a little cross-reference study with you guys. I'm in the book of Psalms. I want to start at verse 22 and read through 28, and then we're going to discuss and cross-reference a few Old and New Testament scriptures that go along with this. Let their table become a snare before them, and their well-being a trap. And let their eyes be darkened so that they do not see. And make their loins shake continually. Pour out your indignation upon them, and let your wrathful anger take hold of them. Let their habitation be desolate. Let no one dwell in their tents. For they have persecuted him who you have struck, and talk of great grief of those you have wounded. Add iniquity to their iniquity, and let them not come into your righteousness. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living, and not be written with the righteous. Psalm 69:23, family. Let their eyes be darkened, that they see not. What is this speaking about? Not literally that the eyes of their bodies, but figuratively, the eyes of their understanding, which were so darkened, and they were given up basically to be blind, that they could not discern the signs of the times that the Messiah must come. Daniel's weeks being up, could not see any glory, excellency, or even the comeliness of Christ. They could not see the evidence of the Messiahship of Jesus and the miracles he brought, nor in the prophecies of the Old Testament fulfilled in him. That the book was sealed book unto them, the gospel and the doctrines in it were hid from them, even from the wise and the prudent among them, yea, also those things which belong to the temporal peace. They were so blinded and infatuated, they could not see what was of their outward good and happiness, and in proof of their own blindness. The words are cited by the apostle also, family, in Romans 11:7, Romans 11:10, Romans 11:25. And you can also see him speak of their blindness, the words that are cited in Matthew 16:3, Matthew 11:25, Matthew 13:11, Matthew 13:13, and Luke 19:42. And when he's speaking of make their loins continually to shake, what that means is weaken their loins in which a man's strength lies, that they may not be able to rise up again against their enemies, and that they might be able to that they won't be able to flee or escape. And you can see that in Deuteronomy 33:11, or fill them with honor, dread, and trembling, as they will be when Christ shall come in the clouds of heaven, and they shall see him who they have pierced. Revelation 1:7. The apostle renders the word bow down their back always. And you can see that, and I'll turn to it in Romans. Let's see, this is Romans 11:10, family. But my husband wants to read a couple. We're going to do a little cross-referencing to show you how the Old and New Testament are alike.
Jesus said unto them, If you were blind, you should have no sin. But now you say, We see. Therefore your sin remaineth. That's John 9:41. If I had not come and spoken to them, they would not be guilty of sin. Now, however, they have no excuse for their sin. And that's John 15:22. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. And that's Isaiah.
And also, family, I want to do a little bit more cross-referencing. According to also in the book of 2 Corinthians 4:4, the God of this age has blinded the minds of the unbelievers that they cannot see the light of the gospel that displays the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. This passage basically suggests that Satan, who is the little g God of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. Basically, this means who don't believe in God are unable to see the truth of the gospel, family. They're not going to understand what it means. They're not going to understand the words. They are going to take everything. They'll have the spirit of offense on them. They're not going to comprehend it nor understand it because they're spiritually discerned. Also, you can cross-reference into Matthew 15:14. Let them alone, they be blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind lead the blind, both will fall into a ditch or a pit. Also, look into Luke 6:39. Can a blind man lead a blind man? Will they not both fall into a pit? And lastly, family, Isaiah 9:16. For those who guide these people misled them, and those they misled are swallowed up. So basically, you can see where the Old Testament and the New Testament, you can cross-reference Psalms 69, verse 23, all the way into the book of Romans, where Paul even speaks that David talks about it. So, I mean, family, it's very apparent that even then there were people that way, and there's going to be people in today's time as well. So don't be surprised by that. But thank you for coming and listening to me and my husband do a short study, guys. We love you guys. And just look into the book of Psalms. That was Psalm 69, verse 23. And you can see all the other scriptures, such as John 9:41, John 15:22, Romans, also Romans 11:10, Matthew 15:14, Luke 6:39, 2 Corinthians 4:4, Isaiah 9:16. Family, take the time to look at the scriptures if you can. We love you guys. Y'all have a good one. Later.